hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Hashtag Comedy TV with me, your host, Mr. Cee, and these wonderful, funny fathers. How you doing, guys?
What's going on?
What's going on, Cee?
Come on. Listen, look, I know a lot happens within the space of a week, but man, I'm still buzzing from last week's show. For those of you who didn't see it, man, we had some fantastic heroes on our show.
Yeah, big man. It was a pleasure to have them on the show and to be able to hear their story of what went on the day. Do you see what I mean? They've been on enough different news outlets, and I think with us being black guys, they was able to shine and just be themselves and was able to speak a bit more freer.
Yeah, man, listen, you know what? It was such a pleasure to because you know sometimes you see these people on your TV screens and you wonder, you know what? Why did you do this? So it was just lovely to have them there and actually hear their own thing, you know. So on GM Good Morning Britain, they was there this week, and this magical thing happened. Oh, come on!
I saw what you did, and it warmed my heart. I had just come from a demonstration the day before and had done several speeches. And what I've tried to articulate, you did in one gesture, because as a student of Dr. Martin Luther King, who also therefore studied Gandhi, Gandhi said we must become the change we seek. You demonstrated that without opening your mouth, without any drama, without any press notices. And I want you to know you put the movement in a keener perspective than anything those of us that's been out there could say or do. And I admire you greatly. The words could not pronounce how much I admire what you did.
Absolutely magical, man. Listen, he got to meet. Did you see how he was gassed? Got to meet his hero, Al Sharpton, man.
Patrick was blinking like he met Santa. Like, my man's eyes was just.
I think he was more. He was more in awe, probably thinking in his head, you know what? You've lost bare weight.
That's what racism does for you. Racism acts as slim fast.
How could you lose weight in your neck?
But do you know what's funny though? How to go from, remember, you know, the 2 weeks before that, no one knew him. And then, come on, man, that's a leap. Just from one.
It was a great act. It was a great act, though.
Yeah, it was.
It was a great act. Even if people didn't see it at the time, that was a great act.
Nah, I respect him, man. I've been picking up white boys since last week, man, just to get a little X amount of followers.
Makes a change from white girls, eh, Quince?
There you go! Boom, boom! I don't Mr. Cee, I'm here every week.
Anyway, here's what's coming up on the rest of today's show.
We kick off today's show with a discussion about that banner. We'll then meet Nina Greywoode, the lady behind our penny banner. And finally, we have ex-EastEnders and Hollyoaks star Richard Blackwood joining us live on the show.
Wow, what a great show we've got lined up for you today. But you know what? We really do appreciate your support and all the wonderful feedback we've been getting. But most importantly, we need you now to get involved with the show. How do you do that? We need you to like, we need you to share, we need you to subscribe. But most importantly as well, we need your comments. So make sure you're joining with the show. Now, look, guys, has anything caught your eyes this week? Quincy?
Hang on, I'm just a bit thirsty. Just
such a muppet. Such a muppet.
You fucking muppet.
I tell you, we have the Mighty Reds social. We've been social distancing from the Premiership for 30 years. It's long overdue, and may it long continue. But I won't dwell on it too long. But I just want to say to you, thank you, Cee, as a Chelsea supporter. You've done us a favour, and it was good that, considering the current climate we're living in, it was a black man who made us win it. So, William, so that's good enough for me. But
before the celebrations, there was the actual matter of the plane and the banner. So just check this out. This is the banner over the Man City Burnley game, and everybody needs prep talks before the game starts. And this Burnley fan thought that this was really gonna prep talk and really inspire the Burnley football club to play Man City. And look, White Lives Matter, and clearly he should have changed it to 3 points matter because they lost 5-0.
Yes. Of course, the person behind that stunt, I had to be careful how I said the word stunt, is Burnley fan Jake Heppel, who commissioned to have that plane fly over the Burnley Man City game. Absolute dumpty. So, Slim, what do you think when you saw that, man?
Well, bro, you know, ignorance, innit? That's ignorance. It sounds like spoiled kids. You know, if your attention's on one and the other one's like, well, what about us? What about me? I mean, it's lack of education, innit? It really is. It's lack of knowledge. The people that do, there's a lot of white folks get it, no doubt. There's a lot of white folks get what the Black Lives Matter means. It's not saying we're more important than them, but they do understand it. It's explaining things in ways people understand. No, I feel that all right, you got a lot of expats that live in Spain and those kind of countries now from Britain. If the Spanish police was killing them expats, brutalizing them and treating them a certain way, do you think that the British people wouldn't speak out and say, well, their life matters? Then that would be like Spanish people saying, well, our lives matter. No, bitch, we're not talking about you. We're talking about the way how we as a people's being treated. We didn't say you're any less than us. But come on, get it right. And I think the ones that don't want to understand that, because it's quite simple, they just don't want to understand. They actually love how they think. So sometimes you can try and explain it to people in a certain way. Sometimes people either don't want to get it or...
Yeah, I think you're giving them too much credit, Slim. Like, I hear what you're saying, but they know what it means. They know we just said Black Lives Matter. We didn't say Black Lives Matter more, White Lives Matter less, only our lives matter. It's plain and straightforward. Any movement on the planet, they don't bring anybody else in. We have to focus on one thing. So if you see like Leukemia Trust, and then someone, what about cancer? What about this? What about, you understand?
Yeah.
We have to focus on this. And this is what is really upsetting me, because when you see people doing stuff like that, maybe he don't realize how, he knows what he was doing, but he might not necessarily think, oh yeah, it's racist. He might just think, yeah, but all my mates are saying it. Because sometimes it's just peer pressure. He's just hearing
and
it
sometimes, yes. And sometimes to impress his brethren.
Of course
because
it is.
Once he's done that, he'd have gone back and said, you see what I done?
Pull out there, Terry. Have a look at that. And it's just to impress his, because why would you do that? Why would you do that? He wants attention. You got attention, and now you lost your job. How about that?
And you know what I was... And I would say as well...
Now he's on the dole, I'm the one paying his bills.
Yeah.
yes!
He's costing us money. He's costing us taxpayers money.
Well, if you look on his Facebook page, you'll see that he's got a message there where he says, "I'd like to take this tour here to absolutely apologise. Nobody." Well, that was before it got taken down.
Where was he from? Because he got me at first.
Yeah, because he sounds like me.
Sorry, that's my generic racist voice. Sorry, I haven't.
It was a northerner. All right, listen. At the end of the day, I say what he did was wrong timing. It was immoral. And I believe there is sections of society who choose not to understand what Black Lives Matter means, because it's more than just a race thing. It's It's something which has been put in the system, and when people are explaining exactly what the movement is about, yeah, I guaranteed if you ask that brother, explain to me what you mean by white lives matter, and he all now, as they say in the Caribbean, all now, the man be looking in your face.
Yeah, yeah.
But Quid, listen, this is what I'm saying, you know. It's not that he don't understand. He's just got people around him that are saying the same rubbish to him. Yeah, what about us? What about white lives? They know what it means. It don't take a rocket scientist. They're not children. We ain't saying nothing outside of what the free word says. Black lives matter. They know what's going on with the black community around the world. Right. They know how we're being treated. They know how we're being killed, how we're systematically being obliterated. They don't care. They don't care.
That's right. No, I agree with you. I just said.
This is just to take the attention away from us, basically. That's all it is.
Well, you know what? Look, we have to try and be middle ground. So we have to try and think to ourselves, if there still is a white person or any other kind of coloured person who still doesn't understand what Black Lives Matter means, then have a listen to Adrian Durham from TalkSport. He'll explain it to you.
Before I worked at TalkSport, I was a news reporter. I covered two very famous murder cases in that time. One was the stabbing to death of a headmaster at a London school. Philip Lawrence was white, well-respected, and a father of four when he was killed in North London in 1995. I reported at the trial of his killer. Less than a year after the stabbing, the murderer was convicted at the Old Bailey. The other murder case I covered was that of Stephen Lawrence. I reported from a very angry public inquiry at Elephant and Castle in 1998. Stephen was a teenage black kid from South London who was stabbed to death by racists at a bus stop in April 1993. A day after that murder, police were given the suspects' names. 4 years after the murder, a national newspaper named the people they believed killed Stephen. 5 years after the murder, police apologised to the family for failures in the investigation. 6 years after the murder, the Met Police was accused of institutionalised racism in a government report. They were also accused of incompetence. 19 years after the stabbing of Stephen Lawrence, two of the men on the original list of suspects, literally given to the police the day after the murder, were found guilty of murder and sentenced to life. There is plenty more about the Stephen Lawrence murder which shows just how terrible the police investigation was, and still it's firmly believed full justice has not been brought. So the point I'm making is this. The white headmaster's life mattered. It mattered so much that the killer was brought to justice as quickly as possible. But the black teenager's life didn't matter enough for the police to investigate it properly and bring swift justice. So history will tell you that white lives have always mattered, but black lives haven't always mattered, and they still don't always matter.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Adrian Durham from TalkSport, man. He put it absolutely to the point, man. To the point, you know?
But you know what's weird? Why do we... Oh, can you hear me? Yeah, why is it... It's funny how it's like we feel like we've got to get another white person to explain to white people what it actually means. You understand? For them to listen, if we were to say exactly the same thing, they start tuning out and start coming up with excuses. What about black on black crime then? What about that? That's what they want to come out with. Now, we can't hear you, Quincy. Can you hear Quincy?
So, oh, yeah. Not too sure what's going on there with Quincy. It looks like Tommy Robinson has got hold of Quincy's audio and has silenced him. No, but it's a good point that you make there, Kane, and that's why I think it's important. That's why it's important, you know, for especially in this Black Lives Matter campaign, to see other people stand up and say what they think and what they see, because, you know, it's not just about us. It's about everybody else joining in and saying what's right and what's wrong, man. Quincy, you had something you wanted to say. What was it? I
agree. And what I liked about that particular clip by Adrian Durham is the fact that him being a drive time presenter on TalkSport, for me, he is talking to the same audience who will not technically get it. And I concur with Kane. It's like when people choose not to really understand what the movement is all about. Because I remember a few years ago, Ian Wright was talking about black on black crime. Yeah, and I remember, and same program with Adrian Durham, the same program. People were calling in, weren't interested. So we need more people like Adrian Durham to speak out to people, because when we say it, it's for some strange reason they feel it's an attack, and it's not an attack. This is our story, but because they're not a part of our lives, and they feel they're not a part of our lives, they won't identify. So I big up Adrian Durham 100% and making people understand what it means and where he was coming from. So well done to him.
I think that sometimes, like when we speak as black people, you know, like if you're having an argument with a girl and she's cussing you about something, and you're not even listening to that, you're just thinking about how you're gonna come back. What's my comeback? Yeah. That's what they're doing in their head. What's my comeback to this? They're not listening to what we're saying. Oh, you got a chip on your shoulder, you rap. Oh, we've gone past that. That was years ago. Like, no, this is what's going on right now under our noses, and we're the ones suffering. So they don't care because they don't care.
Yeah, man. Listen, look, time to move on now. We here at Hashtag Comedy TV, we're always on the lookout for stories that uplift the black community. Most importantly, to do with economics. And we found this special clip, man. Have a look at this. Really special.
Well, if you do, that's OPP and you're not down with it. But if you don't, here's your membership. Get out with OPP. Yeah, you know me. Get out with OPP. Yeah, you know me. Get out with OPP. Yeah, you know me. Who's down with OPP? Every line's on me. Get out with OPP. Yeah, you know me. Get out with OPP. Yeah, you know me. Get out with OPP. Yeah, you know me. Who's down with OPP?
Now, to tell us more, I'd like to introduce to you a lovely lady who's going to tell us all about her ideas regards to economics. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Hashtag Comedy TV, Nina Greywoode.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, Nina. Hey, Nina. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
So
Happy to
Nina,
be here.
you're happy?
Yeah.
Because I know what it's like to wake up on a black woman early Sunday morning. Sorry, I was just saying, we know what it's like to wake up a black woman on an early Sunday morning without giving you breakfast.
Let me tell you something, yeah? I've been on 3-month lockdown, right? So I ain't been wearing no bra, I ain't been wearing no wig, I ain't putting on no lashes, no nothing. Yeah, so because I knew I had to come on here, I've been up since 8 o'clock, bruv. I'm knackered.
Brilliant, brilliant. So Nina, what is OPP? What is it all about?
Right, OPP started by total accident. So I was sitting at home and my niece sent me this thing, like a little banner, saying that they were doing this thing in America on the 7th of July where they were not going to spend any money. So I thought, oh, that's a good idea. So I made a little Facebook video and I posted it. And then it got like 24,000 views. So people were ringing me and asking me, what am I doing with this movement? And I was like, well, I didn't really mean to start a movement. I just posted a video because I thought it was good. So then I contacted my friends Darren and Jay. And I was like, lads, listen, I've got this thing. I don't know what to do with it. I've got all these people following it and they're looking to me and I ain't got a clue. So we came up with the concept of our penny power. Well, Darren came up with the idea, to be fair. And then Jay did all the graphics, put the video together. And then what we did, we just reached out to people that we know and got them to make little 6-second clips of saying, don't spend a penny. And that's how we've been passing the message about. And it's just sort of grown since then.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. I love the fact that, you know, you wasn't too sure exactly what you was going to do, but, you know, you called your nearest and dearest and they came and support. Because even Jay sent me a message and I've done a little 6-second video for you as well, man. So thank you for that, Nina.
And so's Quincy.
I have, and it was, you woke me up to do it as well, which I didn't mind. You know what I mean? But I want to ask you, what are you looking to achieve from the 7th of July?
Basically, I'm not looking to achieve anything more than the 7th of July. I'm not thinking about it further than that, because what happens with us as black people, well, what I've been hearing a lot of, what's the point in doing it for one day? Let's do it for a week. Let's do it for a month. Blah, blah, blah. No, let's try the one day first, yeah? And once we've got the one day sorted, then we can see what we're going to do next. I just want to give black economy or black businesses a boost. We've just come out of a 3-month lockdown. And I totally understand that it's much more convenient to run to Tesco's or run to Lidl or Aldi or wherever it is you shop. Do you get what I mean? But if you go that 5 minutes further down the road and support your black brother, yeah, once he's made enough money, then he can make a shop closer to you so you won't have to travel out so far. Do you know what I mean? But we've got to start from somewhere. We can't keep doing this same thing. And at the moment, we're on this wave and everyone's really passionate and riled up about George Floyd. Let's keep that momentum going. Because what happens is we get bored. Do you know what I mean? And 6 months down the line, we're back where we was. We have to keep it moving. We have to do something about it because they're not going to do it for us.
Mm. No.
Okay, yeah. Well, could I ask, what would you then say would be your ideal vision for our community, business-wise?
Do you know what? My ideal vision for us is to be totally self-sufficient. And when I say totally self-sufficient, we still have options. You can shop, do whatever you want, wherever you want, but there should be a black option. Do you get what I mean? And that's my vision, that there's a black newsagents on the corner or a black off license rather than just being patty shops, hairdressers and barbers, there's so much more to us than that. Do you get what I mean? And that just needs to be shown, and I don't think it is.
So you've got your own business, right, Nina?
Absolutely, I do.
Right. So what practical advice could you give to like somebody else wanting to start their own business?
Be focused and be determined and don't take no for an answer. I started my business 20 years ago and myself and my business partner, we never had a clue. Do you get what I mean? We never had a clue about business, but we knew that we wanted to have a business. And back in them days, you could make an appointment with your bank manager and you had a relationship. And our one was called John Smith. And John was brilliant. Do you get what I mean? He talked us through a business plan. He lent us the money. Even when we opened up, he came down with a bottle of Jack Daniels. He was great. You don't get that kind of service anymore.
John sounded like he had a bit of jungle fever.
Listen, man.
Yeah.
Sounded like he had a bit of jungle
To be
fever.
fair, I
Come down
think John
with
was
a
looking
bottle of
laundry.
brandy.
Listen, he must have been John Simmet.
Hold on, is my eyelash coming off? No.
I want to ask you, Nina. Sometimes, I mean, I don't know if you feel about this. Sometimes I feel that the black community, we react to things instead of being proactive. Do you think that this movement is reacting, or we are being proactive?
We're definitely not being proactive. We're being reactive. That's us as a black nation, yeah. And I'm a testament to it because I'm very reactive. But it doesn't really matter, Quince, whether we're being reactive or proactive. It's the fact that we're doing something. Do you know what I mean? How we got to be doing it is irrelevant. It's the fact that we're doing it and we have to keep doing it. We have to keep the momentum going. It shouldn't be every time one of us gets killed and then we're outraged.
I'm just saying.
Do you get what I mean? And we've got to stop. And this is not a race thing. We've got to stop looking to white people to support us in everything. Everything we want to do, we have to run to the white man to get it. Why? We've got money in our community. Do you know what I mean? We've got business people in our community.
300 billion. 300 billion we've got within our community.
I do get it. I just, for me, it's like, it's okay we don't spend a penny and spending it within our community, but if we are not owning our properties, our buildings, it's just like, what's going to happen is we're going to support black businesses, and then the white man's going to say, you know what, put the rent up. So this is where we need to, hopefully, on the back of this, we need to be thinking ownership and for long-term ownership instead of just spending in a shop which is owned by us.
Well, I recently was on Facebook and there was a group, black-owned business group, and I was invited to join it. And I'll be honest with you, I was on it for about a week and then I left because I found it really boring and they just kept talking about the same old poor customer service and blah. We all know about that. Do you get what I mean? So unless something is going to be productive, there's no point in me being there. So I left the group. Anyway, before I left the group, I told them exactly why I was leaving the group and then I left. Then somebody from the group messaged me and he set up a company, and basically what he's doing, he's getting groups of 30 people together. Yeah. And in them groups of 30 people together, he's going to buy properties. Do you get what I mean? So it enables people that can't buy a property on their own, yeah, to get together with 29 other people and buy a property. So those kind of things are already happening, Quincy. It's just that it's not been publicised. Do you get what I mean? It's very difficult for a young black person to get on the property ladder simply because our parents didn't, well, not everyone, but most parents didn't leave us an inheritance. Do you get what I mean? A lot of white people, they get on the property ladder because granny snuffed it and now they've got 10 grand. But we don't have that. Do you get what I mean? So in order for us to get on the property ladder, we have to get into...
She said granny snuffed
But it's true. We have to get into situations like this. Otherwise, we're not going to have the money. Do you get what I mean? How can you be working 12 hours a day, earning £10 an hour and expect to save 35 grand to buy a house? It's not going to happen. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to join with other like-minded black people.
I agree with
Listen,
you. I agree with you, but
talking
this-
about like-minded black people, Swiss World from So Solid Crew, he's also started up a campaign called Black Pound Day. Have a look at this.
Yeah.
6th of June 2020 marks the day we make history as a black community in the UK with the birth of Black Pound Day, which will officially launch 27th of June 2020. This is a real solution-based community empowering activity which will leave a better infrastructure for the next generation to walk into. It gives us self-pride and a routine spending structure going forward to close the product to consumer loop in our community. Stage 1 has now been launched and I need the media outlets and peers in my industry, the influencers, to repost, share, because it's time to use this moment wisely.
Absolutely fantastic there from Swiss World of So Solid. And, you know, it was so, I was so proud yesterday to watch, like I was on Twitter and it was just a stream of black businesses. It was just wonderful, wonderful. I mean, what was your thoughts when you saw that, Kane?
You know what? It's amazing, but I agree with Nina in some respects because one thing I find about the black community, we're very forgiving with certain things and our memories are very short. Gucci come out and they've done the gollywog jump or whatever, yeah? In my head, that's a straight boycott. They disrespected us, you don't get my money. You still see celebrities endorsing them. You still see people on the street endorsing them. You see people on Instagram putting up pictures of and dressing their kids in Gucci. I don't get it. H&M with the same thing when they put the black boy in the monkey jumper. The same thing. Stop shopping at these places. Do you understand what I'm saying, Nina? But black people forget. You know how many, within 3 days, I saw black people in H&M, but because it's cheap, they're in there again, picking up clothes off the floor where people think them down. We need to seriously think about what we're doing. It's upsetting, man. It really upsets me. Tommy Hilfiger right now, come out and say you don't want black people wearing this stuff. We don't wear your stuff no more, Tommy Hilfiger. You know where I see stuff all the time now? 60% discount in John Lewis. That's what we need to do.
It comes down to finances though, doesn't it, Kane? At the end of the day, remember foot and mouth, mad cow disease.
But you know what, Quint? Yeah, but Quint, the Jewish community don't play around. They spend amongst their own. If they want to go and get food, they go and buy the food from Jewish person. If they want to go and see the
Kane, can I say something? You only see Jewish people in Volvos, you know. They take
They're not buying German cars. They're not buying German cars.
Listen, they only drive Volvos. That's it. They're not in and nothing else. You can't get them to. They support their own, and we just don't do it. I don't understand. Do you know what I mean? If you've got a black man that's selling plantain 2 for £1, yeah, and then you've got, I don't know, an Asian man selling 3 for £1, the black person's not going to use their nut and say, do you know what? Let me buy the black man's 2 for £1 because eventually he can bring his prices down and then he can sell them 3 for £1. No, you're going to go past the black man and you're going to go to the Asian man. You don't use your brain. We don't do it. Do you get what I mean? And you're right about the H&M thing and the Gucci thing. I remember the little cheeky monkey thing. I'm not going to lie. Did I find it offensive? No, I didn't, because I'm not a monkey. Yeah? So it didn't offend me. Do I still shop in H&M? Absolutely I do. Do you know what I mean? I'm not offended by things like that. I'm not a monkey, so why am I going to look at that as a racist thing? Yes, it's a little black kid in a sweat top, but I didn't take it that way, Kane. I really didn't. And I think that the outrage about that was just over the top. With the Gucci thing, now you're having a laugh. That was a blatant little gollywog. Do you know what I mean? But people are still going out, buying Gucci and supporting the brand. Black people are bankrupting themselves, to buy this brand that clearly does not like you. And when you're wearing it, they're laughing at you. Do you know what I mean?
Lena, thank you so much for that. You know, I just want to say, no, look, we just got to move things on. it makes us all proud that there was so many initiatives championing Black businesses, championing the economy. Nina, it's absolutely wonderful having you on our show. You know what? We need to give you more time. We need to get you back on our show so that we can dedicate more time to your conversation. Because you know what? We love the passion and the power that you have, girls. So look, absolute pleasure, guys. Let's wish you all the best.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Coming on our show.
See you later.
And make sure you come back and tell us how you got on, yeah? Make sure you come back and tell us how you got on, please, yeah? Bless up, man. Bless up, bless up, bless up.
Richie!
Now, if people want more details as regards to Nina's project, which is OPP, please log on to our Facebook where we've got all the details there and the link as well. So moving on, I think we all know who's coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest this week is comedian, actor, brethren, Mr. Richard Blackwood.
What, you guys all right?
What, Rich?
You good?
You good?
So a whole heap of people talking at one time. This thing, you know, it interferes with each other. So like, one person's muting, and so I'm gonna have to. But everyone, welcome, everybody. I see all of you.
Yeah, man.
See, Quincy, everybody, welcome. Slim,
Brethren.
right? Hey, you know something? The movie that you done, right? When's that come out, by the way?
Who, me?
With Kane.
Yeah.
Kane.
Oh, February.
Yeah, because I saw clips of that. It looks good, brother. I'm really happy for you.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice, man. Wicked, wicked. Respect, brother.
You know my thoughts are really like certain people that truly deserve to get the recognition. Do you know what I mean? And the four of them are sitting here right now, so that's what I'm saying.
Bless up, bro.
Yes,
now
sir.
listen, Richard,
Yes, sir.
you've been in entertainment for donkey's years, bro. Donkey's years. Let's take a look back and see just where it all started.
Check it out, can I freestyle on the mic? Keep it real tight, keep it real hype. I got the one like the melody and the Richard Blackwood. Rolling nice and you know that we would. Keep it live on MTV all night. Represent the microphone and keep it real tight. Little pipers on the decks. About to rock the discotheque, I'll get it real fresh.
It's for all the viewers out there. Yeah, who's gone clear with the atmosphere? Keeping you dancing, on your toes. Got to get the crew all low. Which way do you really want to go? Up with the beat, down with the tempo. As we're making your mind explode. Richard Blackwood, come drop your low.
Yo, we got to go to a video, so do your thing and stay on the phone. So that's how we do it on the low. My son said, DJ Piper is doing his thing. I messed up, I catch a swing. Cause I can't do that. Swing swoosh in the bling. That's how I do it with my wrist, with bling bling. I do my thing, curly hair with the swing. Check me out, though, the flow is good to go. That's how I do South London, kinda FLOW. That's how we do it in the BMW. But I got a Mercedes, we keep it swayzy. That's how we do it. I gotta step off this track because I'm sounding kinda whack. But it's cool though, cause we keep it kinda rude though. Yo, here's your video, be gone.
Mad flow.
That is
Wow.
yes.
That was about 20 odd years ago, you know?
Yes,
Listen,
bro. I remember that.
longer than that, man.
Studios.
Yeah, well, come on, Slim was there. Slim, when we was doing the
Oh,
single
West
out and
Come
stuff, it was
Down.
all around there.
Yeah. MTV
Leicester
Camden,
Square,
bro.
innit?
Camden.
I can't hear.
Is it Leicester Square or Camden?
Yeah, no, that was Camden. It went to it was kind of between the two, but primarily it was Camden at first, and then went to Leicester Square.
You know, deep down, I know you're a comedian, and obviously a respected comedian, but deep down, do you always want to be a rapper?
You know what? I kind of did. No.
Cut the things, Richard, man.
No, I'm gonna talk it. When I was in school, I used to go by the name of MC Infra because I had red glasses. So I called myself MC Infrared. Yeah, them bad boy names back then.
That's deep, bro.
Electro names.
Yeah. Electro names. People don't know about electro. Before hip hop, it was electro, right?
Yeah, electro.
So that's what I was doing. And I had a Sweet 16. I had a Jay-Z bar ready back in 86, 87, but I never saw it through. So I think that inside of me, I was like, you know what? I'm good at comedy, but these guys are not ready for my hard bars.
I understand that.
Do you see what I'm saying? Thanks, Quincy, for bringing that up.
The reason why I asked that question is because I started off as MC, but I was reggae. and my name was Funky D. Funky D.
Hold on. No, Quincy. No. Give us a little bit then, Quince.
Oh, hold on there.
He's ready.
But my bars, ladies and gentlemen, right about now we are introducing you MC Quincy, right fire.
I am the DJ of the future. Me no talks like this. Me no talk vulgar. Me are the DJ of the future. Me no talks like this. Me no talk vulgar. And then I said another lyric called that's it.
Wait, that was it? That was the bar?
The man sing a chorus, you know.
There's one lyric. 11, lower, 11.
4 minutes right in that bar and put that. Honestly, that's me.
No, wait, I'm sweating. I
had this lyric called. I sometimes get turned on for dancing.
Quince. No, Quince. Pause. Because Richard, you was called Infa because you was coming from Electro. Quincy, you're coming from the era of paraffin lamp.
I'm trying to think.
That was a chorus. That weren't even bars. You sang a chorus. that was a chorus. Yeah,
Quincy.
Chorus.
Quincy.
I'm going to the rest of the song.
What made me laugh is that you spat about 2 lines and then you pause and went, yeah, so my next lyric is, it's like, wait, that one wasn't even finished.
So Richard,
move on.
Hold on, Richard. So tell us, how did the MC thing start? How did it start, man?
What stand up or general? You mean?
No, MTV. How did you get into MTV? What was
you know what? Okay, real briefly, I was obviously United. We're on the circuit and we're doing shows wherever we can get them. And I did a show. Hackney Empire used to do a mainstream. Imagine they call it mainstream night on a Wednesday at Hackney Empire. This is like 96, 95. So the woman, I can't remember the white lady that used to run it with the black guy. I can't remember her name now. But Slim, you can remember her name.
And
what was her name?
Claire?
Hackney
Empire.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, my guy. I know you're talking with the short hair.
You know what I'm talking about? Kind of short, sort of like...
Yeah.
She was just paid a check. That's what she was.
Susan McKenna.
Yes.
There you go. So now a lot of people don't know. She's basically the reason why I got on TV, because she came to me. I was performing on a mainstream night. I was the only black comedian on that night, and she came to me and said that MTV were contacting people looking for presenters, and she put me forward and said Richard is the guy on the circuit at the moment. Like I was from 95, 96 was kind of my time on the circuit where I was blowing up. So she put me forward and she gave me a phone number. This is how far back. She gave me a phone number and said, they want to speak to you. And I said, okay, fine. But I was doing a show for Channel 5 called Club Class, which some of you did right back then. Right. Yeah. And me, I'm not greedy. The way I looked at it is like, I've got Club Class, so somebody else can have MTV and we can all come up together. That was my ideology. So I put Otis. Now Otis used to go uni together, and Otis did Blind Date, and he does the Gadget Show, one of them things now. But anyway, we grew up together. So I saw Otis at a university gig in Leicester, De Montfort, and I gave him the number and I said, listen, they're looking for presenters, try it out. He went for it, and then no internet, no none of that. He bumped into me at another event. And he said, listen, they saw me, they love me, but they said they want to see you. So I said, okay. So I went for it. I went twice. Then the third time, I got the job, and the woman Tulip that was behind it had then, they divulged, and she said, I wrote it for you, right? And I was trying to get hold of you, and it was Susan at Hackney Empire that had the link, but I had to make it look like it was an audition. But essentially, they wanted a comedian that could, because, I was a freestyler. And I think maybe because I said it in my stand-up that I freestyle, not all the time, but sometimes, that she went, okay, he can freestyle, because she didn't want to write scripts. So she wanted to give bullet points and then know that I can kind of go off. So that's essentially what got me into TV, really.
And then the next big thing, to have your own TV show. to look in the TV Times or whatever it was at the time and see the Richard Blackwood show.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It was, you know what, right? It was, I mean, you guys know me, innit? So the audience essentially don't, right? Like for me, I was doing stand-up. Stand-up for us, it's going to sound really hard. Stand-up for us is very easy, right? We've always been, all of us have been, as in this room, right? We are the kind of the selected few that we can go on stage without no prep, we can get to a show late and go, they need you on now, and you run on, and we can annihilate the show because we just have those natural comedy genes. I actually remember the first time I saw Kane perform was at the Choice FM used to do their nights on a Sunday, where I think it was, I can't remember the days it was, in the West End, right? Yeah. And I'd seen Kane once before because he had booked me. No, it was the other way around. So I saw you perform there, right? And I knew of you, but I didn't know you, right? And I just remember, and you know me, everybody in this room knows me, right? I look at comedians, if they're good, that if I need to go harder, because a lot of comedians, I just don't think they're all that, right? Do you know what I mean? And I know how good I am, right? And I remember watching you, and I was hosting, and I was like, yo, right? Like, and it didn't look like a fluke. Everything was a bam, bam, bam. And I was watching, and I was like, and my adrenaline was going, because it was like, I like that feeling. It's like, woo, he's making me have to work hard. And I think I said it to you. I think I said that, you know, you make me have to go hard. Then you booked me to do a show. You was doing them out by, not Southport, out of London. Where?
And you had Southend. Oh, I'm going to tell you, let me just tell you something quickly. Let me tell you something quickly about that night, Richard. I'm going to tell you something quickly about that night. That night, Ram sold out. Richard Blackwood's coming down. Ram, yell, cark up the place. People standing up. Do you know how much I made that night because of how much you and Charlie charged me? I walked out that building with £7.
Oh my God! How much you and Charlie? Hey,
listen.
Charlie.
Listen.
Never forget that.
No, it's Charlie.
I thought
Charlie's hardcore. Listen, you know Charlie not buck around, right? Charlie is Penfro from Danger Mouse. He's the dangerous one, right?
Listen.
Don't play with Charlie with the funds, right? But I'll say this, right? Sorry about the £7, but I'll tell you this, right? I saw you freestyling there. I didn't really see a lot of comedians freestyle like that. I saw you freestyling, and this woman was heckling you, and you was destroying her for about a good 10, 15 minutes. And I was like, yeah, he's a real beast. But so I say all that to say, no, absolutely.
But you know what, Richard, sorry. Just before you continue, Richard, let's have a look at you at your Richard Blackwood show.
Listen, do you know who was trying to get me to do this afternoon?
Oh, no!
Trying, because I've got a tattoo in my bum. He went, please, can you show the audience your bum? Can you actually believe he asked me to do that?
People.
And he was like, yeah, and you did bend over and you just, I was like, what are you talking about, Richard?
No, but people want to see.
Nobody wants to see my ass, come on.
You did some time. Before you just keep quiet, man.
No, I will.
I
right,
saw it, though.
Anyway. No, you did not.
Yes.
My screen.
Great times.
So I have to ask a question, Richard. Did you see the tattoo?
Oh, no.
I mean, guys, let's just move on from that. I mean,
next one.
Next. Nick, I can't see you, know.
Oh, have mercy. So
those were great times, guys. Great times. Right. You guys know me, so you know me.
You know what? Just move on there. That's one of my crushes. Move on.
No. Okay. Yeah. Out of all the people that you interviewed on the Richard Blackwood show, who was your favourite guest?
LL Cool J and Don King.
Wow.
Don King. Oh, and DMX, but Don King it was hilarious because, okay, so if you watch the show, they come out from the entrance and they step down a couple of steps, then they come and sit down. People, Don King, right, he heard about my show. He was over here doing some kind of promotions for Sky, but he heard that, he actually said to me, he heard there was a young black man that had his own show, and he just said, get me on that show. So anyway, so he come out and he did this. He walked one step and dropped down the stairs flat on his face. He didn't break the floor with his hands. No, you know when you drop, you break the floor. You kind of you use the ligament. My man just went down like this, bam, and slid on his face down the following 2 steps. And the audience, just to show you how gangster Don King is, because remember he's murdered somebody before, you know, right? It's like
allegedly,
yeah.
He went to prison for it, so, you know, as far as the audience was concerned, we all had the same telepathic powers, and we all said, we can't laugh. Audience full of black people, 2 white, and he dropped. And when he dropped like this, he looked up to see if we were laughing. He did that. And everybody went, I've never seen a collective of 300-400 silence. Nobody laughed. I said, listen, man, it's dangerous. And then he got back up and he went, no, you wouldn't.
I would have Richard, you love a drop. If anything's to make
we all
you
love
laugh,
a drop.
it's when people drop, yeah? And if it's a funny drop, listen. If I had seen that, the whole audience, you would have heard me. You know them breaking up laugh.
Yeah. And I would have, you know what? I would have shouted out, not even your afro saved you.
No, you didn't.
You're out of order, Quids.
You're out of order. You're a boxer. Only because you're a boxer.
You're out of order.
I don't like how you done Frank.
Talking about drops anyway, Richard. You also managed to drop tunes like this. Oh.
On the comedy circuit, they were telling me to do what the Americans do. I call it is that a rule so the soul stay true? And my uncle used to say stay you the breakthrough. Now I'm getting pounds and hugs from the people that I checked from. Never had a brick stand or more. I love you enough shows, so no go. And open DMs and only 2 people in the Coliseum. Can't go from the 1st to the 5th year. Looking in my ear, cause I'm bound to hear. From day one I had your back where my drinks at. Go tap water, Cubs finest. So they natural from a minus. Went to a plus, UK black bound to bust. Only cause I knew who to trust. Take your time, young man. And mama used to say, don't you rush to get home. Mama used to say, take it in your stride. And mama used to say, live your life.
What a tune. And you know what, Rich, that tune's still banging today, you know. Listen,
you know what? I've been very lucky with that song. I mean, I haven't been paid for it, but let's not talk about that. But like, it definitely pushed me. It's so, do you know what? I tell you what's weird about that song, right? Is obviously, once stand-ups are very good at going from stand-up to presenting because it's a natural kind of correlation for us because we host shows and all that kind of stuff. So presenting, I was doing presenting. I had the Richard Blackwood show. And I was on the 2nd season of the Richard Blackwood show. And then I released that song. That song went to number 3. It was like the highest. I mean, back then you had to sell units to get in the top 10. So, and I did Top of the Pops. And the host of Top of the Pops, the producer, said to me, oh, wait, you can present it, can't you? And I thought, Ross Clark, I've got 2 seasons of the Richard Blackwood show. I've been doing MTV for 5 years. But it's the song that brought me to your attention. And that's when I got Top of the Pops and I got a lot of mainstream shows from the single, but not from the work I put in previous, which was really weird.
You know what, can I say this, Rich? I remember as you riding that wave, you presented Capital Radio in the afternoon one time, and you took over the show and you made it soul. Because I was working in Victoria at the time, and I couldn't stand Capital Radio. I was always trying to tune it into the reggae stations. Right, I met the white boys into the radio stations, and then the one time he goes, "How comes it's on Capital?" I was like, "Because Richard's on," and we're listening to Richard.
Wow!
Listening to Richard.
Wow! No, thank you,
and you played loose ends. You was playing loose ends because I think you was co-hosting with somebody, and I remember the other presenter was like, "Who's this then?" was like, this dumb gal. To respect you.
But you know, no, but you know what, Q? Right? And, you know, Slim can tell you, especially, like, every platform I've got to, I've always, some way, somehow, tried to bring something or someone through. Some way, somehow. Like, no matter how much I could, I always tried, because even when I did the music, the only reason, right, that I did the music was because they were not focusing on the rappers like London Posse and Cookie Crew as much, and people like that at the time. The record companies weren't really pushing them. And then when they approached me and they said, would you like to do it? I was thinking, me? But I'm not really a rapper. And I remember I did interviews and I said, okay, I'm going to use this platform, and every interview I'm going to say, you need to look at X, Y, X, Y, X, Y, X, Y, whomever it was at the time. And I was doing interviews like that. And literally I would say in interviews, and the record company hated it, because obviously you got to act like you're the man. And I was saying, if you think I'm good, you need to check out who's on the circuit doing X, Y, Z. That was always my thing, because I knew that after one album, I'm going to get dropped. I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't want to do it, right? But hopefully they'll focus on whoever. And afterwards, So Solid came through, right? That somebody saw So Solid and they brought them through. And I then put So Solid, their first TV appearance was on the Richard Blackwood show, because I wanted to, they were underground at the time. And literally I had a slot and I went, let's get So Solid. And people didn't know who they were. And I said, listen, I don't think they're big right now. Get them to the show. It was Romeo, Lisa Mafia, and Swiss. Swiss was DJing. And I said, just go on here and smash it up. I said, I don't know how long they're going to give you, but smash it. They went and smashed it, and then they took off.
Yeah, wicked. Fantastic, man. Wicked. Listen, so Richard, you've done the music, you've done your own TV show. Next thing for you is the acting. And of course, let's have a look at a little clip from EastEnders.
You know what? I got to get back to the car. Look. Don't make me tell you twice.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I don't think we saw that. Let's play that again.
That was Richard.
You know what? I got to get back to the car. Look. Don't make me tell you twice.
Rich, be honest. If you were to say that as Richard, that's how you say it. Like,
listen, I wrote that line.
Of course you did.
It wasn't written like that. It was written like, don't let me have to say it again, right?
Yeah.
And literally, because obviously we're on screen and we got a good chemistry, and by that time, EastEnders trusted me to, I give them dues, they trusted me to kind of, because I would say to them that I would sometimes jump into Jamaican, because that's what we do. Wherever our native tongue is, at home or amongst friends, we jump into that. So I said, so I want to do that in acting. And they was like, okay, cool. Right? So that scene, they said, they wanted to rehearse it. And I said, no, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say, because I don't want to spoil it for him. Right? So literally, I just kept on saying, don't let me have to go over it again or something like that. So then when they said shoot, I said, don't let me, and you could see he's trying to hold it because he wanted to bust up.
Ricky.
And then when we finished, he was like, no, he goes, you got to keep that. And so they knew that I was always trying, once again, I was trying to push the black agenda. I wanted that line there for me. I wanted black people at home to go, no, he never. That was,
That is what we grew up with. That is a line that all of us grew up with. Because at the end of the day, all of us being told something by our parents, and it don't look like we heed what they've said. And what do? The same. Run that clip again. Your mum tell you something?
You know what? I got to get back to the car. Look. Don't make me tell you twice.
Ain't that mum?
And the thing is, what it is,
I don't look at him.
No eye contact. No eye contact. That's right. That's more menacing.
You heard what I said, innit?
Just my words is gonna frighten you. Because if I look on you, I'm gonna kill you.
You know the fun of it? All of us have said that to a promoter.
And you know what? It's the way how you place. It's the way you place emphasis on the word twice, because you put the word ice and rice in that as well, In fact, play that clip one more time and listen to the ice and the rice in the twice. Run that clip again.
You know what? I got to get back to the car. Look. Don't make me tell you twice.
when you first got in EastEnders, of all the women in EastEnders you got to date, right? What was did you write Ronnie Mitchell in there? Because that was the Christmas one in the square. Did you write in yourself?
Funny enough, Quince, I'm glad you asked the question. Glad you asked. Right? So they had pictures on the wall. So obviously I knew me and Tamika was going to be the couple. We knew that. But they said, you're going to be a bit of a dog. You're going to do your thing. Who do you reckon? They had pictures of all the cast people like posing. They said, who do you reckon will be the one that you, Vincent, will go for? And I went, yeah, right there, Sam Womack. I said, Sam.
That's the first thing I saw. Of all the gal in EastEnders,
so what kind of thing is this? You get to pick your banana.
Yeah.
You get to pick your banana yourself.
Yeah, because but don't get me wrong, they've got an idea.
Yeah.
But they were like, when I said Sam, they went, that's exactly what we was thinking, right? So we did a lot of, yeah.
You're turning it into Tinder. So what was it like playing Vincent Hubbard? What was it like?
For the first 2 years, amazing, because they kept the character the way that they wrote it and the way that I wanted it, which was that he was supposed to be the nemesis for Phil Mitchell. Because remember, I knocked out Phil Mitchell in one scene. I'm the first black man to ever do that.
Yeah. So
right, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And even then, right? Because you know, I do fighting. Like I know you guys box, but I do martial arts. So I choreographed that, right? Right. When he swung, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna bam, and I'm gonna crack. Right? Make sure. And he's looking at me, right? But I did that for two reasons. One, because I wanted to show people that I do martial arts, but two, I wanted to let him know, don't ever feel you can take the piss with me because I can fight. It was two kind of reasons. So, when people do their thing, and when you see a person do this, you go, okay, he leaned into it. He knows what he's doing, right? I just wanted to let him know, like, I've heard about you. I'm not the one. So it was kind of two-pronged attack. But when I did it, everything was fine. It was amazing. But the final year, right? If you ever watched it, you'll see they started to write my character where he was getting pushed around with a man that was like 102 with a cane in his arm. Like he couldn't walk, but he was slapping their back, right? And even the actor, right, bless him, even he was saying, I don't understand how I'm able to push around Vincent and he's strong and I can't barely walk. And that's when you knew that they were starting to write me out the show and kind of make me look a bit weak, right? And that's the point. Yeah, but luckily, what I had established with Vincent, people love Vincent, so they didn't go for it, if that made sense. And then at the end, just real quick, at the end, when I'm in the car and the guy points a gun at me, right, they said to me, do whatever you want to do, because the director and I got along. So that's when I was...
Let's have a look. Let's have a look, Richard. Let's have a look at how that panned out.
Maguire. Look. I ain't gonna do this, yeah? I'm not gonna do this. It's what I'm trying to tell you back at the house. My wife and I, we spoke. We spoke, and I ain't gonna do it no more. I just want out. I don't want...
Okay, thank you. What I'll tell you about that, right, is it was written that I was meant to say, I'm not going to do it no more, blah, blah, blah. And then they kind of left it blank and they said, the director, she was so light, she goes, do what you feel you want to do. So the way it was written was that I go out scared and then we don't know who
Tommy Robinson.
trigger.
Almost like Tommy Robinson.
Right? 100%, right? But what I did, as you saw, was when I did that, I got that from Denzel Washington, right? Do you know what I mean? Where he fixes that, right? And then I looked at him and I went, I'd say, go ahead if you're bad. And I did that on purpose because I wanted the audience to know that the Vincent that started the show, that's the one that left. He wasn't a coward, right? And also, it was the first thing I did. When I entered the square, I looked at Phil's house and I went, and they said, oh my God, keep that. So I made sure that was the thing I left on. So that's the thing that made people go, we want Vincent back, because the guy had a gun, he was going to kill him, and he faced him and said, do it then. And but that was the politics. They wanted me to go out and go, no, right? And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So, you know.
I did like that scene. I actually, if you look at the scene again, it reminded me, it looked like he was trying to get out of a partner group that had Eastern Europeans in there. That looked like an Eastern European man saying, where my money? You understand? Me and my wife talk about it, and we just follow it. It's like, where my hand then? Where my hand? Yeah.
And do you know what as well? Like, I don't watch EastEnders, but I don't like the fact that they put you in a car, put two men beside you, but they gave Dirty Den at least a lake. At least he can jump into the water. I don't watch EastEnders.
Yeah.
It's like, if you come back, your name is not Vincent, your name's Houdini.
It's never going to happen. I'm good now as well. Like, I knew for myself that, I mean, you know what? I never say never, but I'm good now. Right? Do you know what I mean? Like, I just, you know, when you come to a tail end of a relationship and it's getting bad, right? You know that you're not going back there, but you had good times. It's that kind of thing.
They'll bring you back. Believe me, they'll bring you back, man. They always do.
Yeah, man,
very true, very true. They will. But my thing is, I'm good. Do you know what I mean? I've always been like that. You know, when I leave a situation, I leave it on the premise that I've done it to death, so I don't need to go back there.
Yeah, yeah.
But then, you know what? So after that, then you went on Dancing on Ice, innit?
Yeah.
And how did you find that?
Well, once again, the politics of the industry, my friend. Like, it was. So you had essentially 3 black people on the show, right? Myself, Melody, and Wes. So we already knew. We used to have our little black corner. We used to say, you know, like, there's only one of us who's going to get through this. Like, we literally, from the day one, we used to say that, like, look, we must know this. Like, we're not getting to the final. Let's just clear that up, right? Do you know what I mean? So Wes, I was the skater, but Wes, he's fearless. He's absolutely fearless. So he picked up moves quick because he had no fear of dropping. Whereas me, I'm older. Like, if I drop, that's where I'm going to stay. So I had to kind of be mindful. Right? No, when you...
Stone King on Ice. Let's have a look at you in action, Richard. Because everybody says it's hard. So, Richard, I know when they said to you, so what's going to happen, Richard? You're going to go through this, you're going to do the pirouette and blah, and then you do this big jump, Richard. And you said to them, jump where?
No, look. You know what's crazy about that jump?
Twice.
Let me tell you twice. No, you know something? That jump now, the weirdest thing is that whole routine, I was so nervous because you got the judges there, the audience, my son was there, my mum, everybody. But if I go ice skating now, I can jump and spin like for fun. It's so weird. Like, that's one of the good things about doing that show is that I go ice skating now and it's like I'm teaching people. Like, I do moves and people go, what? Wait a minute. Like, first of all, they see Richard Blackwood, they go, is that Richard Blackwood? Then I'm skating and I might dance and jump and do some madness. And they go, or I'll do a spin, like a proper, and they go, what? Because all of it stays and there's no pressure of the audience and the cameras. So you actually become a bad boy skater. I mean, like, I'm a bad boy skater.
I'll be honest, I believe you, but it makes a difference because when I saw you do the jump, it looked like, you know, when you go park and you see dog doodle on the floor, it's weird there.
I did know what?
It's like a skip, innit? It's like the a little skip.
I respect you for that jump, man, because I wouldn't have done it. I would have told the director straight, I'm going to be skating around this thing like Skate Electric because I am not jumping because my people are watching me.
Oh my God! Listen, but you know, I'll give it up to you, bro. I'll give it up to you because I went skating. The last time I went skating was Streatham Ice Rink. You remember back in the day when we was 15, 16? They used to have the right, yeah. I went there, fell over, and man ran over my hand. You know, with you don't understand. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. My name nearly wasn't slim. It would have been nubs. I said, nah, this ain't for me, bro. But my hand was numb. I said, fuck an ice skate, man. I'll leave that to you. Yeah, you dance on ice. Yeah?
No, I'm a bad boy skater.
You know, on ice skating and walk around. Yeah, man. Fuck that.
No, I'm a bad boy skater, but I'm going to let you guys talk. Go ahead.
So afterwards, go on, Queen, sorry.
I was going to say that that's how craven we were as youngsters now. When man go to ice skating to look girl in the ice. I'm willing to unbalance myself. You were skating like you were looking girl at the side.
Listen. No. Listen. Listen. Most guys from the ghetto couldn't ice skate or roller skate, yeah? But you can see, bad man would turn up, you know, for the girls. But they have to put on the roller skate. So you see them stand up. And if you bounce them, they see you outside higher. They can't skate, but they'll stand up for hours in the same spot. Refuse to move. Listen. It's a different time then, man.
They're skating like meerkats.
I knocked over a guy's girl. But I used to skate in Streatham when I was a kid. Because remember, I grew up in Sweden, so I learned to skate out there. So me and my boys used to go ice skating in Streatham every Wednesday and Friday. And I remember we used to do this thing where we were in a line and we would skate and you had to basically just keep up. So we would do a madness. People might be holding arms. We just skate underneath their arms. We do strippiness. So anyway, I'm doing crossovers and there's a girl skating with her friend and I did a crossover and I hit her boot by accident. And literally, so I'm like this and I just saw her whole body like this. Just go like this and go bang as I carried on going, right? So we're kids, innit? So I'm laughing. Then I just felt this masculine hand, because I'm a kid, pick me up like this, right? And drag me to the corner, span me around, and this black guy, I was about 16, he must have been about 23, 24, grabbed me by my throat and he did this like he was just gonna let it go, he was gonna let it rip. So I'm like this, like, and then one of my friends, his name's Gary, he literally, just before he released it, he kind of grabbed his hand and goes, you can't hit him, right? So he was like, what do you mean? And he goes, his cousin, and you know, back in them days, you had cousins that were from the end that were doing real things. Yeah. All my cousins were doing real things, right? And he just meant, I won't say those names now, but he said, his cousin is blah, 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 right? And literally, you saw him go like this, and when he heard the names, he went, and he just let me go, fix my coat. You know what? My cousin is so dangerous that he fixed my coat.
That would have been your whole career finish.
No, he's going to smash me up. Because I laughed at his girlfriend dropping, right? He was going to smash me up. And rightly so, right? But he fixed my coat and just went, and then when we came outside, all my cousins, you know, those were the bad boys that stand outside looking to either rob somebody or check girls. So they're standing there and they go, you're right, cuz, you cool? And I said, yeah. And the boy walked past and he gave me a look like to say, please don't say nothing. Right? But I wasn't that way. So I went, I gave him a look like to say, it's all right.
Right, I was like, keep it moving. Explain to the viewers who might not know about the play briefly what it was about, and then your experience.
Well, actually, I can give you guys an exclusive on that because obviously I'm in London now. And the reason why I'm here is because we're doing typical again. We're going to film it now, right? So basically, it was a story of Christopher Alder. He was from Hull. True story, and he was a soldier and he got beaten to death by the police, and you know it was 20 odd years now, and the footage which everybody remembers where he's on the police floor handcuffed and he's choking on his own blood and he dies on the floor, and they're making monkey chants and basically like no different to basically what we're dealing with now 20 years later, right here and in America. So but what it was that he didn't want no trouble. I mean, he was a soldier, so he was on the side of the law and ended up getting killed by the people that he was even protecting when he went to war, right? Do you know what I mean? So I did the one man where I played him and all the characters that he interacted in the day of his demise. And I do I hope a powerful scene where you see him get beaten to death as well and he dies and blah, blah. So so what's happening now, as I say, is that in this current climate, they actually contacted me and said, look, we want you to do it again, not for an audience, but we're going to film it, but film it properly, like get everything, and we're going to put it out there. So actually, as of tomorrow, whenever this goes out, but tomorrow I start the rehearsals, and we're going to film it. So everybody's going to get to see it.
Well done. Well done. It was a powerful performance. When I went to watch it down, it was Soho Theatre, wasn't it? That was a powerful performance because at the end of the day, it was literally a one-man performance.
Yeah. Like,
you know what it is? And a bee. Your sidekick, the bee that was in there. You remember you had a wasp?
Yeah.
In there while he was acting.
Yo!
Remember? Yeah. And I was just watching.
He was there from the beginning. The wasp was there from the start. Oh my God, yes, I remember that. That's the one that you came to. Yeah, no, the wasp, and I'm trying not to hit it while I'm doing the lines. And everybody's watching like,
listen, I would have fucked that play up if that was me. I'd have fucked up my life and everything.
I don't know how I did that one. I don't know.
You're a true method actor, bro. That's why, man.
No, respect, man. No, what it was for me, that show, that I think that essentially, before I used to act and I would get through, because I wasn't trained as an actor. But that play taught me how to act. Like, that's the one where I'd say, okay, I felt like I graduated as an actor because I was naked, I was there in front of an audience, and a one-man show, you either get it right or you get it terribly wrong. There's no in-betweens, do you know what I mean? And luckily people enjoyed it. So that's what made me realize that, okay, I've got something here. But before that, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Well, listen, Richard, man, we just got to say, thank you very much, my brother. We've got to wrap the show up because of time. We're definitely going to get you back on, my brother, because your legacy is absolutely amazing. We wish you all the best up there in Cheshire. Yeah, make sure you come back and see us soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, guys, let's give a round of applause to Mr. Richard Blackwood.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure, man.
God bless.
Absolute comedy legend there. So that's all we've got time for this week. Slim, what are you up to this week?
This week, I got some phone calls to make, man. You know what? I'm gonna go and I'm getting a brand new Hollywood smile makeover, man, and get some of these raggedy teeth sorted out. So that is my main thing. Yeah. I've got it. Once I've got my Hollywood smile, then it's onwards and upwards.
Bless up, man. I might be following you as well. I'm going to tell them I want the Kane Brown teeth section. That's what I want.
Yeah, man. Kane's got pretty teeth, man. Yeah, I'm just fan. Yeah.
I was lucky.
You know what I mean?
I was lucky because my brother had braces. Not me. I'm doing my live on Insta on Wednesday, 10 o'clock. And yeah, that's the main thing that I'm focused on this week. But I've got a few other things I'm sorting out. And also as well, I need to speak to Slim because I'm going to be writing my sitcom as well. So
yeah. Well, watch out for that, man. Finally, Quincy, what have you got coming up this week, sir? Cockney Prince?
This week, I have got my regular radio program on Supreme, and I've got a brand new lady who's going to be with me talking all things tech from Academy Achievers, so I'm looking forward to that. So all things tech, I'll be talking from tomorrow, from 10 o'clock in the morning on Supreme.
Fantastic. Well, listen, that's all from us this week at #comedy.
See,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? Every week you ask us what we are doing. You're not telling we what we are doing.
This week, I'm just going to take it really easy and just chillax. I'm going to go and spend some time with my sons who I haven't seen for ages. And that's all I'm doing this week, man. Just absolutely chillaxing. But that's been all for us this week at Hashtag Comedy TV. Please make sure you continue to like, subscribe. Move yourself. Where the dirty flag come from?
See what I'm saying?
Like, subscribe, and share, and please catch us next week on Hashtag Comedy TV.
Too hard to handle in the matter of rap. The elements are relevant and locked in the trap. I buckle up, run the shop, take it to the top, but still laid back as I fade the crack. I tap the bottle and twist the cap. I bring the essence of essence to fight your whack. I'm majestic, you can't test this. With the skills I got, yo, I should be arrested. 1, 2, 3, 4, get with the wicked. Can I get a chicks get a women? Can I get a fellas, you know? 1, 2, 3, 4, get with the wicked. Can I get a chicks get a women? Can I get a fellas, you know? I'll be runs the show.
Better turn the lights down, who's still? Have no fear. Been there to relax, now I came to prepare. Like I thought on the loose, yo. Lyrical abuse, be aware. I order con the wicked, I declare. You can get a ooh ooh, a what, a rock. All be, help me out now.
Don't worry, I got you, that's how we get down. Place to a mates, make it hot, understand?
From crowns to pounds, kilo to ounce. Bounce, here's a chance to relieve that tense. Loose off those pants and up with those hands. Get with the hardest steel ticker on the trance. I occupy this bar from dusk to dawn. Dawn to dusk, 24 hours a bus. Whenever, however, whatever I want. Anytime, any place, anywhere, I'm prepared.
1, 2, 3, 4, get with the wicked. Can I get a chicks get a women? Can I get a fellas, you know? 1, 2, 3, 4, get with the wicked. Can I get a chicks get a women? Can I get a fellas, you know? I'll be runs the show. I'll be runs the show. 1, 2, 3, 4, get with the wicked. Can I get a chicks get a women? Can I get a fellas, you know? I'll be runs the show.